The battlefield was silent now. Smoke rose slowly from the burnt ground and broken machines lay scattered everywhere. Ships were half buried in the dirt and the air smelled of ash and metal. It was a place of death, a place where no one should have survived. Captain Ryan Hale walked carefully across the ruins. His armor was scratched and his steps were heavy. He was tired, but he still searched for anyone left alive. The war between humans and the Zarth aliens had ended only hours ago, leaving nothing behind but pain and loss. Ryan was part of a rescue team sent to find survivors. Most of his squad was gone, and communication with command had been lost. He was alone now, walking through the smoke with his rifle ready. Every few steps he stopped to listen. The wind whistled through the ruins, carrying faint sounds, maybe movement, maybe just echoes. He didn't know. Then he heard it clearly, a soft groan like someone trying to breathe. He turned his head and saw something glowing faintly under a pile of metal and dust. Ryan walked closer and raised his weapon. The glow came from a body, not human. Its skin was gray-blue, its armor blackened and torn. The strange light came from lines running across its skin. It was a Zarth rebel, one of humanity's greatest enemies. Ryan froze. The Zarth had attacked Earth colonies for years. They had killed thousands. His friends had died fighting them. Every soldier was trained to show no mercy. Orders were clear: leave the enemy behind. But as he looked at the alien's face, something changed inside him. The alien wasn't reaching for a weapon. It wasn't angry or threatening. It was hurt, broken, trying to breathe. Its eyes slowly opened, shining like silver stars in the smoke. It stared at Ryan, weak and confused. Its lips moved and a quiet voice came out. "End it, please," it whispered. Those words hit Ryan like a stone. He had seen soldiers ask for mercy before, human soldiers. But hearing it from an alien enemy made him stop and think. Ryan lowered his weapon a little. He could walk away. No one would ever know. But deep inside he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Compassion. Maybe it was madness. Maybe it was hope. He didn't know. He stepped forward slowly and knelt beside the wounded rebel. "You're badly hurt," Ryan said softly. The alien didn't respond, only coughed weakly. Ryan pulled the debris off its body piece by piece. Every move was careful. The alien winced but didn't fight. When the last piece of metal was gone, Ryan saw the full damage. The alien's chest was burned and blood, dark and strangely, leaked from its side. Ryan checked his med kit. Only one med gel pack left. It was meant for human wounds, but maybe it would help. He hesitated for a moment, then pressed the gel against the alien's chest. The substance spread and began to close the wound slowly. The alien gasped, then looked at him again. "Why?" it asked quietly. "Why help the enemy?" Ryan didn't answer right away. He looked around at the endless destruction. Ships, armor, bodies of both species. "Because I'm tired," he finally said. "Tired of hate. Tired of orders that make no sense." He looked at the alien again. "No one deserves to die alone." The alien blinked slowly, trying to understand. "You human. You fight us." "I did," Ryan replied. "But maybe I shouldn't have." The alien turned its head slightly. "You will be punished. Your leaders, they do not forgive." "I know," Ryan said, standing up. "But I don't care." He reached down and helped the alien sit up. The creature groaned in pain but managed to stay upright. Its silver eyes never left Ryan's face. "You strange human," it said weakly. Ryan almost smiled. "I've been called worse." The wind picked up again, blowing ash across the ground. Above them, the sky was dark, covered in storm clouds and smoke from fallen ships. Lightning flashed far away, lighting the ruins for a moment. Ryan looked up. "They'll come back soon. Soldiers, scanners. If they find you, they'll finish the job." The alien looked down. "Then leave me. Save yourself." Ryan shook his head. "No, I started this. I'll see it through." He pulled a tracking beacon from his belt and crushed it under his boot. Now no one would find them easily. "If command can't track me, they won't know." The alien tilted its head. "You risk much. For nothing." "Maybe," Ryan said softly. "But I think helping someone, even an enemy, is never nothing." For a long moment, neither spoke. The only sound was the wind and the soft hum of broken machines. Ryan began to search for shelter. The alien tried to stand and Ryan caught it before it fell. They moved slowly, one step at a time, leaving behind the bodies and smoke. As they disappeared into the ruins, the battlefield grew quiet again. Above them, stars began to shine faintly through the clouds. Two enemies walked together, one human, one alien. And though they didn't know it yet, their choice that night would change everything. The night was cold and silent. The smoke from the battle still hung in the air and the ground was covered in ash. Captain Ryan Hale moved carefully through the ruins, supporting the injured alien rebel beside him. The creature's breathing was weak, each step a struggle. Ryan could feel the alien's weight pressing against him, but he refused to stop. He knew they had to find shelter before the search drones came back. Every few minutes, Ryan checked the sky. Small flashes of light blinked above, probably scanners searching for survivors or enemies. If the drones spotted them together, both would be finished. Ryan's heart pounded in his chest. He had broken the rules. Helping an enemy was a crime in the human alliance. But deep down, he couldn't let another life fade away, not after seeing so much death. After a long walk, Ryan found the entrance to a half-collapsed bunker. The door was broken, but part of the inside seemed safe. He guided the alien in and laid it gently against a wall. The creature's eyes glowed faintly in the dark. It was still in pain, trembling but alive. Ryan took a deep breath and sat down across from it. For a while, they said nothing. The silence between them was strange, not hateful, not peaceful either. Just heavy. Ryan looked at the alien carefully. It was unlike any Zarth soldier he had seen before. Its armor had strange marks carved into it. Not military symbols, but something personal, like names or memories. The alien noticed Ryan's eyes on the carvings and gave a weak laugh. "You stare like a child," it said softly. Ryan shrugged. "I've never been this close to one of you before." "Nor I to a human," the alien replied. "You are smaller than I imagined." Ryan almost smiled. "And you're heavier than you look." The alien tried to laugh but ended up coughing. Ryan moved closer and checked the wounds. The med gel had helped a little, but it wasn't enough. He tore a piece of fabric from his uniform and wrapped it around the worst injury. The alien didn't resist. It only watched him with tired eyes. After a while, Ryan asked, "What's your name?" The alien hesitated, then spoke slowly. "Tavarin." Ryan repeated it carefully. "Tavarin. Strange name. To you," the alien said. "Among my kind, it means one who resists." Ryan nodded. "A rebel, then?" Tavarin looked down. "Yes, but I did not fight for power. I fought because I saw what my people were becoming. The Dominion destroys everything it touches." Ryan understood that feeling. Humans can be the same. We fight and call it peace. He stared at the cracked wall beside them. "Maybe that's why I helped you. Maybe we're not so different." Tavarin tilted his head slightly. "You believe we could be allies?" Ryan didn't answer right away. He thought about the long years of war, the propaganda, the orders. "I don't know," he said at last. "But I believe we don't have to stay enemies forever." The alien seemed to consider that. "Strange words for a soldier." "Strange times," Ryan replied quietly. Outside, thunder rolled across the dark sky. The ground trembled slightly, the sound of distant explosions or falling debris. The war might be over, but the destruction wasn't. Ryan looked at the small scanner on his wrist. It flickered, showing weak signals nearby. Some could be human patrols, others enemy survivors. They needed to move soon. "You should rest," Ryan said. "And you?" asked Tavarin. Ryan leaned back against the wall. "I'll keep watch. Someone has to make sure we live till morning." For a moment there was silence again. Then the alien said quietly, "Human Hale?" Ryan looked up. "Just Ryan." "Ryan," Tavarin repeated. "You risk much for one who may not deserve it." Ryan sighed. "Maybe no one deserves it. Maybe that's why mercy matters." The alien closed his eyes slowly. "Mercy. We do not have that word." "Then learn it," Ryan said softly. Hours passed. The storm outside grew stronger, shaking the bunker walls. Ryan stayed awake watching the entrance, rifle in hand. He could hear Tavarin's breathing behind him, slow, steady, alive. The sound was strange but somehow comforting. Ryan's thoughts drifted to his squad, his commanders, his home. What would they say if they saw him now guarding an alien rebel? They'd call him a traitor. But he didn't care. Something about this moment felt right. As dawn approached, a faint light touched the horizon. The smoke outside began to clear, revealing the shape of the destroyed valley. Ryan stood and looked out through a crack in the wall. Somewhere in the distance, engines roared, patrol ships scanning the area. They were getting closer. Ryan turned back to Tavarin. The alien opened his eyes weakly. "We must move," Ryan said. "They'll find us soon." Tavarin tried to stand but stumbled. Ryan caught him again. Easy, I've got you. The alien looked at him quietly. Strange. Human saves enemy. Enemy saves human. Ryan helped him to the door. Maybe we stop being enemies today. Together they stepped out into the fading smoke, walking toward an uncertain future. Neither knew what waited for them ahead, rescue, capture, or death. But one thing was clear. The war had ended, but their story had only just begun. The morning light slowly touched the broken land, revealing the true damage of the battle. Everything was silent except for the faint crackle of fire in the distance. Captain Ryan Hale walked carefully across the ruins, his armor scratched and dirty, while supporting the wounded alien beside him. Taveran's steps were slow, his breathing uneven, but his will to move forward stayed strong. Both of them knew they had little time. Human scanners were still searching the area, and if they were caught together, there would be no mercy for either of them. Ryan checked the horizon. Smoke and broken ships stretched as far as he could see. The air was dry and heavy, and every breath tasted like ash. His communication link was still dead, and he couldn't call for help even if he wanted to. A part of him wondered if command had already marked him as lost. Maybe that was for the best. He didn't want to explain why he was protecting a rebel alien. After an hour of walking, they found a ridge covered with shattered rocks. Beneath it was a small cave that looked safe enough to rest in. Ryan helped Taveran sit down against the wall. The alien's face was pale and the glowing lines on his skin flickered weakly. Ryan knelt beside him and checked the bandages. The wounds had stopped bleeding, but the alien still looked weak. "You need more time to heal," Ryan said quietly. Taveran gave a tired smile. "Your medicine works better than ours." Ryan looked at him with curiosity. "I thought your kind had advanced healing." "We did," Taveran replied slowly, "before the Dominion took it for war." Ryan said nothing. He could see the truth in Taveran's eyes. This alien wasn't just a soldier. He was someone who had seen his people change, just like Ryan had watched his own army lose its kindness. For the first time, Ryan began to see that war didn't only break cities, it broke hearts. As the wind howled outside, Ryan opened his supply pack. There was little left. A half-empty water pouch, a few energy bars, and a broken scanner. He handed the water to Taveran. "Drink," he said simply. Taveran looked surprised. "You share even when you have little," Ryan shrugged. "We're both alive. That means we share what keeps us alive." The alien took a sip and gave the bottle back. "In my world, mercy is weakness." "Then your world is broken," Ryan said softly. Taveran looked at him for a long time. "Perhaps, but mercy is dangerous. It makes enemies hesitate," Ryan smiled faintly. "Maybe hesitation is what saves us." They sat quietly for a while, listening to the distant rumble of ships in the sky. Ryan wondered how many others had survived, humans or aliens. Maybe none. Maybe they were the last two souls left on this dying planet. After some time, Taveran spoke again. "Ryan, when you saw me, you could have left. Why didn't you?" Ryan looked down at his hands. "Because I couldn't. I've seen enough people die. I didn't want to add one more." "Even an enemy?" Ryan nodded. "Especially an enemy. Maybe if someone like me had done the same earlier, this war would have ended sooner." Taveran looked away, thoughtful. "I once spared a human," he said quietly. "A young pilot. My commander called me a traitor. I was punished. That is when I left the Dominion." Ryan's eyes widened. "You left your army?" "Yes," Taveran replied. "I could not fight for a cause that had no soul. I joined the rebels, but even we failed. We fought for freedom and lost everything." Ryan felt a strange respect for him. Then maybe we're not so different after all. Taveran gave a faint smile. Strange fate. A rebel and a soldier walking the same road. Outside, the wind began to settle. Ryan decided they needed to move again. He stood up and looked around. "We can't stay here. Patrols will come this way by noon." Taveran tried to rise but winced in pain. Ryan reached out his hand. "You're not walking alone." The alien took his hand slowly and Ryan helped him stand. Together they stepped out into the light. The sun was rising behind the smoke, painting the sky in shades of orange and gray. As they walked, Ryan noticed something on the ground, a crashed drone. It was half buried, its lights flickering. He knelt down and opened its control panel. "If I can fix this, maybe we can track nearby signals." Taveran watched curiously. "You trust machines more than people." Ryan gave a small laugh. Sometimes machines don't lie. After a few minutes, he managed to restart the screen. It showed weak signals. 2 human patrols, 1 Zarth scanner, and a neutral beacon far to the east. Ryan pointed at it. There, maybe that's a shelter. Tavarin nodded slowly. Then we go east. Ryan packed his tools and helped the alien walk. Each step was hard, but neither complained. They had become something neither of them expected, partners in survival. As they moved across the silent wasteland, the first sound of distant engines echoed behind them. Ryan turned his head and saw faint shapes moving in the smoke. Human patrols. He gripped his rifle tighter. "They're coming," he whispered. Tavarin looked at him calmly. "Then we run together," Ryan nodded. Together. And under the burning sky, human and alien began to run, not as enemies, but as 2 lives bound by the same hope. The wind rushed through the broken land as Ryan and Tavarin ran side by side. Behind them, faint lights moved through the smoke, human patrols scanning the battlefield for survivors or threats. Every flash of light made Ryan's heart race faster. He knew if they were caught, he would be seen as a traitor and executed without a trial. But turning back was not an option. He had made his choice, and now he had to see it through. Tavarin stumbled once, his legs weak from blood loss. Ryan caught him quickly and helped him steady. "Keep moving," Ryan said in a calm voice, though his lungs burned. "We're almost out of range." The alien nodded silently, his breath uneven. They moved through shattered rocks and broken machines until they reached a narrow canyon. The walls were high, offering cover from the drones above. Ryan led Tavarin inside, and they rested behind a large stone. The sound of engines passed overhead. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Only when the noise faded did Ryan finally breathe out in relief. "That was close," he whispered. Tavarin leaned against the rock, his silver eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "Your soldiers are thorough. They do not stop easily," Ryan nodded. "They think they're doing what's right. That's what makes them dangerous." For a while, they rested in silence. Ryan used the last of his water to wet a piece of cloth and handed it to Tavarin. The alien took it without a word and wiped the dust from his face. Ryan could see how tired he was, yet there was still strength in his gaze. After a few minutes, Ryan looked at his scanner again. The neutral beacon to the east was still active, but weak. "If that signal is real," he said, "it could be a rescue point. Maybe there are other survivors there." Tavarin looked doubtful. "Or it could be a trap." Ryan gave a small smile. "Everything is a trap these days." Despite the danger, he helped Tavarin to his feet again. Together, they left the canyon and began walking east. The journey was slow, the land uneven and filled with debris from the war. Every few steps, Ryan glanced back to make sure no patrols followed them. As they walked, the silence between them began to fade. Ryan asked quietly, "What was your home like before the war?" Tavarin looked up at the gray sky as if searching for a memory. "My world was bright once. We had oceans that glowed under twin moons and forests that sang in the wind. But then the Dominion rose. They promised power and safety, and in return they took everything. They turned beauty into fear." Ryan listened carefully. "That sounds familiar," he said softly. "We humans, we built our colonies far from Earth, hoping to make a peaceful future. But somehow we brought our wars with us." Tavarin gave a quiet nod. "Perhaps it is the nature of thinking beings, to fight for control." Ryan sighed. "Maybe. But maybe we can learn something different." For the first time, Tavarin gave a faint smile. "You speak like a dreamer, Ryan." Ryan chuckled. "Maybe I am. Dreams are all we've got left." Hours passed as they crossed the wasteland. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in orange and red. In the distance, they finally saw something, a faint light flickering from what looked like a structure buried under the dust. It was small, half destroyed, but still powered. Ryan stopped and pointed. "There, that must be it." Tavarin narrowed his eyes. "Are you certain?" "No," Ryan admitted, "but it's our best chance." They approached the structure carefully. The entrance was partly collapsed, but inside they found a small chamber filled with old machines. A faint hum came from a power core still running after the battle. Ryan checked the controls. They looked like a mix of human and alien tech. Someone had built this as a neutral zone. "This place," Tavarin said slowly. "It is not Dominion, not Alliance." Ryan nodded. "Maybe someone wanted peace here." He looked around and found a console flashing a weak blue light. The words were simple. Emergency shelter, activated beacon, and awaiting response. Ryan felt a flicker of hope. Someone might hear us, he said. A rescue team. Tavarin looked at him with uncertainty. If your people come, what will they do to me? Ryan hesitated. If they see you, they'll arrest you. If they see me with you, I'll be finished too. Then we should leave, Tavarin said. Ryan shook his head. No, we've come too far, maybe. Maybe there's someone out there who will understand. He sat beside the console and sighed. The light flickered again. It might take hours, maybe days, for a signal to reach anyone. They had no choice but to wait. Tavarin sat across from him, silent. For the first time since the war began, they were not fighting. They were simply two survivors, waiting together in the ruins of a world that had forgotten mercy. As darkness fell, Ryan stared into the faint light of the beacon. Somewhere beyond the stars, others might still be fighting, still hating, still killing. But here, in this quiet shelter, a human and an alien had chosen something different. A fragile hope that maybe, someday peace could begin with just two people. The night was deep and still, broken only by the faint hum of the beacon inside the small shelter. Ryan and Tavarin sat quietly, their bodies weary from the long trek across the ruined battlefield. The air smelled of dust and burnt metal, but for the first time in days, neither of them felt immediate danger pressing down on them. They had survived the war's worst night together, and now they were waiting for help, or for the unknown that the morning would bring. Ryan leaned against the wall, staring at the flickering lights on the console. He was thinking about the journey ahead, about the choices he had made, and about what this alliance with an alien rebel might mean. Helping Tavarin had been a risk, one that could have cost him his life. Yet in that quiet, Ryan felt a strange calm. He was no longer just a soldier following orders. He was a man choosing what was right. Tavarin lay back against the wall, his silver eyes glowing softly in the dim light. Ryan, he said quietly, why do you persist? Even now your own people would condemn you for saving me. You risk your life for one they call an enemy. Ryan looked over, his expression steady. Because I can't walk away. It's not about loyalty to my people anymore. It's about doing what's right, about saving life when I can. That's all that matters now. The alien studied him for a long moment, then gave a faint nod. Perhaps there is something in your kind that my people have lost. Mercy and courage that does not seek reward. Ryan smiled faintly. Maybe? Or maybe we're just stubborn enough to care when others don't. Tavarin gave a soft chuckle, the sound strange but comforting. Stubborn, yes. That might be our shared trait. For a while neither spoke. Outside, the wind whispered across the barren land, carrying ash and distant echoes of the destroyed world. The quiet was almost sacred, a pause in the endless cycle of violence that had defined both of their species. After some time, Ryan stood and walked to the small window of the shelter. Beyond the broken land, the first hints of dawn were visible, washing the sky in soft hues of pink and orange. He could see the valley, still covered in the scars of war, still empty of life except for their fragile presence. We need to move soon, he said. The signal may have reached someone, but if it hasn't, we can't wait forever. Tavarin struggled to rise, pain flashing across his face. Ryan moved quickly to help him, wrapping a supportive arm around the alien's shoulders. Easy now, he said. We'll move together step by step. They left the shelter cautiously, scanning the horizon for any signs of patrols or drones. The land was quiet, but Ryan knew better than to trust the silence. He guided Tavarin through small ravines and broken rock formations, keeping to shadows and avoiding open spaces. Every step was careful, but each one brought them closer to survival. After hours of slow movement, they finally reached a plateau overlooking a river that still flowed despite the devastation around it. The sight of water filled them both with a small, unexpected hope. Ryan knelt by the riverbank, letting Tavarin sit and drink. The alien's wounds still burned, but the water helped cool his skin. Life still finds a way, Ryan said softly, watching the river move steadily. Tavarin looked at the human with something like admiration. Even in the face of death you see hope, he said quietly. That is not common among my people. Ryan shook his head. It's not common among anyone. But hope is what keeps us alive when all else fails. The alien remained silent for a long moment, then spoke again. If we survive this, if the signal reaches someone, what then, will your people accept me? Ryan's jaw tightened. I don't know. Some may not. But I do, and that's enough to start with. Tavarin's silver eyes flickered with something that looked almost like gratitude. Then I will trust you, human. Ryan gave a faint smile. And I will trust you. For the rest of the day, they moved slowly along the riverbank, using the natural cover to stay hidden. The land was still harsh and their pace was slow, but with each step Ryan felt a growing confidence. Together they were stronger than alone. Together they had a chance. As dusk fell again, they found a small cave near the river, safe for rest. Ryan checked the med-gel supply, almost empty now, and patched Tavarin's wounds as best he could. They sat close, tired but alive, sharing the silent acknowledgement that survival was not just about avoiding death, but about standing together despite fear and hatred. Ryan whispered into the dim light, "We'll make it. Somehow we'll make it." Tavarin nodded slowly. "Your stubbornness may yet save us both." And as darkness fell over the valley once more, human and alien remained side by side, not as enemies, but as companions. Their journey was far from over, but the choice to walk together had already begun to change everything. The war was behind them, and a fragile hope for peace, and fragile but real, stretched ahead. The morning sun rose slowly, painting the valley in shades of gold and gray. Ryan and Tavarin had slept lightly, taking turns keeping watch. Their muscles ached, and the wounds Tavarin carried reminded them both of how close they had come to death. Yet neither complained. Every breath they drew was proof of life, proof that their choice to trust one another had not been in vain. Ryan carefully checked the horizon. The river flowed gently, glinting in the early light, and the wreckage of the battlefield stretched as far as he could see. The small cave where they had rested offered some cover, but beyond it lay open ground where patrols could spot them. They had to move east toward the neutral beacon that might carry their signal to someone willing to help. Tavarin rose slowly, leaning on Ryan's shoulder. "We should go," he said quietly. "The path is open now." Ryan nodded. "Let's move before they find us." The journey was long and difficult. The land was littered with debris, fallen trees, and broken machinery. Every step required care to avoid injury or leaving a trail. Ryan led the way, scanning constantly for signs of patrols. Tavarin followed, leaning on him when the pain in his legs grew too strong. Despite the exhaustion, there was a sense of determination between them. Neither would allow the other to fall behind. As they walked, Ryan spoke softly. "When this is over, if we make it, what will you do?" Tavarin considered the question. "I do not know. My people may see me as a traitor. The Dominion will hunt me. The rebels, they are gone. Perhaps I will find a world where I can live without war." Ryan looked at him. "Maybe that world isn't a place. Maybe it's someone willing to stand with you even when everything else is lost." The alien's silver eyes softened. "You human have a strange way of thinking." Ryan gave a faint smile. "Maybe. Or maybe I'm just tired of seeing people die when they don't have to." The conversation ended as they approached a ridge overlooking the distant plains. From there, Ryan could see movement in the distance. Patrol drones skimming the horizon, small human scouting teams, and the faint flicker of alien sensors. He gestured for Tavarin to stay low. "We move through the canyon below," he whispered. "It's safer." Tavarin nodded, trusting Ryan completely. They descended carefully into the canyon, moving slowly but steadily. The shadows provided cover, and the wind carried their scent away. Despite the danger, there was a rhythm to their steps. Two beings walking together, relying on each other for survival. Hours passed, and the sun climbed high in the sky. Their pace slowed as Tavarin's wounds caused him pain. Ryan tore another strip from his uniform and reinforced the bandages. "We're almost there," he said. "Just a little further." Finally, in the distance, they saw it. The neutral beacon glowing faintly atop a small hill. The structure was partially damaged, but the light was steady. Ryan allowed himself a small sigh of relief. "We made it," he whispered. Tavarin looked at the beacon with a mixture of hope and uncertainty. "And if they come, what will they think of me?" Ryan shook his head. "It doesn't matter. We survived. That's what counts. Everything else can wait." They approached the beacon cautiously. The structure hummed with energy, and the consoles inside flickered with life. Ryan activated the emergency signal again, watching as the lights pulsed in response. Somewhere, someone might be receiving it. Humans, aliens, or even neutral parties willing to help. Tavarin leaned against Ryan. You never stop, human. Even when everything is against you, you continue. Ryan shrugged. Someone has to. And sometimes, someone has to believe there's a chance for good even when the world tells you there isn't. As they waited, distant engines roared. Rescue teams or patrols, Ryan couldn't tell. He prepared for the worst, holding Tavarin close and keeping his rifle ready. But despite the fear, there was a strange calm between them. The danger was real, but so was the bond they had formed. They were no longer just soldier and rebel. They were companions, survivors who had chosen trust over hatred. The hours passed slowly. Tavarin finally spoke again. Ryan, I have learned something on this journey. That mercy, that stubborn refusal to leave someone behind. It is not weakness, Ryan smiled faintly. It's what makes us human. The alien's silver eyes gleamed in the dim light. Then perhaps there is hope for both our peoples. As dusk approached, the first response came, a faint signal from beyond the horizon. The pulsing lights of a rescue team appeared in the distance, human ships descending toward the beacon. Ryan's heart raced with relief. He turned to Tavarin. It's them. We made it. Tavarin's lips curved in a faint smile. Together, we survive. Ryan nodded. Together, he repeated. And as the ships drew closer, the two survivors, human and alien, stood side by side, ready to face whatever came next. The war had left scars on their world, but it could not touch the bond they had forged. In a universe that often rewarded cruelty, they had chosen something rarer: trust, courage, and the refusal to walk away. For the first time in a long time, hope felt real. The first ships appeared over the horizon as the sun began to dip below the broken mountains. Ryan and Tavarin stood together at the beacon, exhausted but unbroken. The distant hum of engines grew louder with each passing moment, and soon the human rescue team was visible, their sleek craft gliding across the ruined valley. Ryan's heart raced. After days of running, hiding, and risking everything, they had finally reached someone who could help. Tavarin looked at the ships with curiosity and caution. Your kind, he said slowly. They are coming for me? Ryan shook his head. Not just for you, for both of us. You made it this far because we didn't give up. The alien's silver eyes flickered with emotion. I did not expect this. Trust is rare and mercy rarer still. Ryan smiled faintly. Maybe we've changed that, at least for ourselves. The ships landed on the open field, kicking up dust and debris. Soldiers in human armor emerged cautiously, scanning the area. Ryan stepped forward, holding his hand slightly up. It's okay, he called out. We're not a threat. One of the soldiers approached, eyes wide as they took in Tavarin's alien form. Ryan moved protectively in front of the injured rebel. He's a rebel, yes, Ryan said. But he's no danger now. He survived because I refused to leave him behind. The soldier hesitated, then nodded. Captain Hale, your orders were to leave all enemies behind. Ryan met the soldier's gaze. Those were old orders. Survival isn't just about following commands. Sometimes it's about doing what's right. The squad leader studied him for a long moment. Then slowly she gestured for her team to help. Bring them aboard. We'll sort everything out later. Ryan assisted Tavarin as human medics moved in to check his wounds. The alien winced but allowed it. His trust in the human who saved him stronger than his fear of the unknown soldiers. Ryan watched silently, a mix of relief and pride swelling in his chest. They had made it this far together. As Tavarin was gently lifted onto one of the transport ships, he turned to Ryan. You risked everything for me. Why? Ryan's eyes met the alien's glowing silver ones. Because no one deserves to die alone, he said softly. Because sometimes being human means saving even those who seem like enemies. Tavarin studied him for a long moment. Then he nodded. Perhaps. I will remember this. Perhaps. We are not so different, you and I. Ryan gave a small smile. No, we're not. And maybe one day others will see it too. The ships lifted off, carrying them away from the battlefield, leaving behind the ruins and the scars of war. Ryan looked down at the valley below, the smoke rising from broken machines and shattered earth. For a long time, it had been a place of death, fear, and hatred. Now it was a place where trust and courage had survived. Tavarin, lying on the medbed, spoke quietly. I have learned mercy is strength, not weakness, and trust Trust is courage, Ryan nodded. Exactly. And you've shown more courage than many warriors I've met. The alien's eyes softened. And you have changed the meaning of what it is to be human in my eyes. Ryan smiled, a weight lifting from his chest. Then maybe we've both changed something today. As the ships flew through the sky, leaving the scarred world behind, Ryan thought of the countless lives lost, the wars fought, and the hatred that had spanned galaxies. But he also thought of this moment, fragile, simple, and yet profound. One human had refused to walk away, and one alien had survived because of it. The journey ahead would not be easy. Taverin would have to face humans who might not understand his actions, and Ryan would have to explain his own. But for now, that didn't matter. What mattered was survival, trust, and the fragile bond that had formed between two very different beings. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the ships in the valley. Ryan looked at Taverin again. "We'll face what comes next together," he said. Taverin gave a faint smile, weak but sincere. "Together," he echoed. And in that quiet agreement, hope stretched between them, a small but enduring light against the darkness of a war-torn world. They were no longer just human and alien. They were survivors, companions, and symbols of something greater, that even in the coldest, deadliest places, life, mercy, and courage could still prevail. The ships disappeared into the sky, carrying them away, leaving the valley behind. But the story of a human who refused to walk away and an alien who learned trust would remain. A story of hope, courage, and the unyielding strength of choosing compassion over fear. For Ryan and Taverin, the war was over, but a new journey had just begun. One where enemies could become allies, and where hope could rise even from the ashes.